viewers, today is day 2 in Mexico City and we covered quite a lot today. So we are probably going to make part 1 and part 2. So anyways, we started today with one good breakfast. What you see here is called chilaquiles, and every time I say this word, my mom laughs her heart out just because how it sounds. We are going to talk more on Mexico food culture later, but to give you a gist, these humans never fail to skip any form of drink when they have their meal. They call it bebidas. Today we plan to visit the Chapultepec castle. Trust me, it is as interesting as it sounds. This castle is located inside Chapultepec Park in Mexico City that also consists of other important spaces, but unfortunately since we did not have much time this time, we could only cover the castle. And by the way, if you plan to visit this place, get ready to do a lot of walking, and I can only promise that it's gonna be worth all the tiredness. Thank God the weather was a little bit okay for us to keep walking. We saw this beautiful lake on the right, and the Batman that you see, my husband really wanted a picture there. Thank God the kids were already online. But walking along and just enjoying the beauty on all the sides, we kept moving forward because it had a lot of walking to do. What you see here on top is the castle, and it looks so humongous. So from here it's a 1.2 kilometers uphill until you reach the castle. This castle lies on top of the Chapultepec hill, and like you can see, it has a lot of European influences, and it played a very significant role in the Mexican-American War. This castle was built in the 18th century and has housed many kings like Maximilian and Charlotte mostly, and many presidents after. Now it serves as the National Museum of Mexico, showing various arts and various forms. This art that you see and many other art that you are going to be seeing in the entire video showcases a lot of incidents from their war and the freedom that they've got. It encompasses many artists from the period of the Mexican-American War, and it shows the struggle that they went through to gain independence from the Spanish government, and it was breathtaking. Like, I could literally stay here forever, and the art were so three-dimensional. I don't think the video does enough justice. This has to be my favorite spot in the entire castle, and you know why. It has all this beautiful sunlight coming in and has all these books arranged so beautifully, and you can see that there was stained glass in every nook and corner, which brought in amazing amount of sunlight, and the color just made magic. This space had all the belongings of the queen and the king. You see all this precious jewels. It was made of precious stones and gold, and they were like very detailed, and they were all preserved. And just take a look on all the artwork and all these small belongings. Once you are out, you see this beautiful view, and I'm going to talk more about it in some time. But as of now, just see how the glass and the stone has come together to give such a splendid view, and the below part is where we actually entered. And this space that we entered from another entrance, which I forgot to cover, this has all the belongings during the war. It has all the clothings, it has all the pistols, the guns, the swords, and everything that was used. They have even preserved the clothing of the queen and the king, and it was so magical that these things were actually worn so many centuries ago. Once you are out from the interiors, you can see how beautiful and majestic the viewpoint is. So I have heard and I have read from there that this had a lot of advantages. Number one was the military advantage. So for the defense position, this elevated location of the castle, it provided the strategic defensive advantage. So every time there's a conflict, especially during the Mexican War, this castle had like a high advantage because the point, it allowed the defenders to observe and prepare for the approaching forces. And you can also see that from here you can literally see the entire Mexico City. It had the most amazing panoramic view, and it was filled with the natural landscape because the queen really loved it. And it also had a lot of historical context, because visitors to the castle, they can gain a better understanding of the significance by observing how strategic and symbolic this important location was. Do you see this line crowding up? This line is to go see the lavishness and the luxury that the king and the queen lived. There are many rooms, but we did not really have access to go inside, but we had a chance to look through them from the outside. So what you see here is the residence of Maximilian and Charlotte, and you see everyone is so excited to look into all the details that it has. So from many of the spaces, one of them is the Goblin Room. You can see how intricate the detail is. There's a lot of information here, so in case you want, you can always pause and read. It is made of all the European tapestries. It has all the rugs, all the ornaments that are imported. And this room is the tea room. It has a beautiful mirror and again a lot of ornamentation. I'm quite surprised to how they were able to restore and preserve all of this actually. This space is where the Maximilian and the Charlotte lived. This is their bedroom. You can see how every single piece was handpicked by the Charlotte itself, and we can see a little bit more in detail. This is their space. What you will also notice is that the ceilings are super high. It kind of makes the room look really bigger, and they are well organized, and it has a pretty good room to walk around. Coming to the most important space in the residence, the bathroom. So this is so luxuriously done that I can stay here forever, and I'm sure you can too. And every other space had its own details. Of course, we weren't able to see the entire residence, but to whatever we saw, I think it's very easy to guess the kind of lifestyle they had. So this was another great day. Stay tuned for part 2.